All right, today we're going to a seed exchange in the historic center of Quito, in the, what is it called? The Contemporary Art Center, kind of on the northern edge of the Centro Historico. So I've packed up a bunch of my seeds to trade. We've got some banana passion fruit, known as taxo, some papaya de monte, also known as Chilean papaya, or Chilean. I always have a hard time pronouncing it, but it's a papaya that will grow in relatively cool weather or high altitude. And what else do I have? Achocha. I always pronounce it wrong. Achocha and rocoto peppers. I've got some rocoto peppers. So I packed up some seeds to trade, some stuff that I'm willing to give away, and we'll see what we can find there. Let's get into it.
Son como silvestres.
All right, so this is the seed fair, and I picked up a bunch of good stuff already and traded away all of my rocotos, about half of my chilean, a bunch of other stuff, but I'll show you once we're done here what I scored. So the taxo and the ají rocoto, the rocoto peppers, were surprisingly popular. I was expecting the papaya de monte, the chilean, to be the most popular, but man, I was out of rocoto extremely fast. And now I'm down to just the taxo. I brought a ton of it because we had a ton of it, and it's getting snapped up. Everyone wants it. I'm surprised.
Y me siento muy contento de compartir con ustedes y de saber que estamos mucho en el cuidado de las semillas ancestrales. Y ese es el deber que debemos de seguir valorándonos y seguirnos cuidando. Ahora, igual, queremos pedir a todos los...
All right, so here is our haul of seeds. We've got some marigold, a black corn, girasol is sunflower. These are small sunflowers. I don't know what this one is. I have no idea what it is in English. We actually got some sativa and pico, another one I don't know what it is. Really a bunch of stuff that I have no idea what they are. I'm gonna have to plant them. Well, since we've got the names in Spanish, this one's unlabeled. Since we have the names in Spanish, I can identify them online, figure out where to plant them, how to grow them. So this one was really, this was really interesting. The coco chilenos, it grows a huge palm tree with these tiny little coconuts, and it'll grow in cooler climates. They grow as high as Quito, so it'll grow just fine on my little farm. Pretty excited about that one. What are these again?
No recuerdo el nombre, pero es como un fresco al gigante. Muy delicioso, cremoso.
And we got some worms. We got some red, like earthworms. So pretty good haul.
Maíz.
More black maize.
That one is interesting too.
So all in all, it was a pretty good seed exchange. I was not expecting what we brought to be as popular as it was, and wasn't expecting to walk away with this many exciting new plants. All right, we're making our escape from the seed exchange. That was fun, but it was also a little chaotic, and it got to be a little too much in there. And it's also a pretty noisy moment to take video of the Contemporary Art Center because they're pressure washing. You can just see the basilica a couple blocks south of here. this neighborhood down there really isn't exactly the Centro Historical. We're right on the edge of it. Kind of starts where the basilica is, a few blocks from here. All right, now we're getting into the Centro Historical. This is the basilica. And as you can see, right here, the buildings start to change. You see less of the kind of uglier, modern, I hesitate to call it modern, but just kind of simple architecture, and suddenly you transfer over into something a lot more beautiful. And now we are in the center of the Centro Historical. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the presidential palace right there. This is the spot. We just stumbled into this bookstore that seems to be quite a find while we're walking through the Centro Historical here. I'm going to show you guys around a little bit. ¿Cómo se llama?
Mark,
Mark. Mucho gusto, Mark. What's the name of this place?
this is called the English Bookshop.
Ah, awesome. And
It's along Venezuela in Manabí.
perfect. So that is in the Centro Historical, and man, there's a ton of interesting books here today. I'm picking up some books for the kids, and I found some interesting history books for Joseph, and some entertaining books for Ian. But it's a rare find to find a bookstore like this in Quito. Very exciting. Very cool and social place. So right now in Ecuador, in Quito, a lot of people consider this part of town, the Centro Historical, not very safe. And definitely at night, it's not. It's got a bad reputation. But during the day, especially like weekends like this, I'm walking down the streets with my phone out. There are moments in certain blocks where I put my phone away and I'm careful, but it's not as dangerous during the day as the reputation would suggest. It is worth visiting. It is nice to walk around. There is a lot to see and do. It's cool. And it's time for almuerzo. It's time for lunch. All right, after a little while, the Central Historical becomes a bit too much. The crowds were getting pretty intense, and we got a taxi to get the hell out of there, get back to our end of town. I had no idea at the time, but I managed to get my hands on two very important seeds. One of them is poroton. Poroton is a bean. It's a huge bean that grows on a tree. It's a legume. It is a nitrogen fixer. It has very deep roots that help it stabilize soil, but it is also a very high protein bean with a apparently, I haven't tried it yet, but apparently a very delicious flavor that the only reason this bean is not commonly produced throughout the world is because it doesn't preserve well. Most beans you can collect and dry and then sell. This bean you collect and you got about 8 days to use it. So poroton is one of the awesome ancestral seeds it's going extinct, but I'm about to plant, I don't know, 20 poroton, and I hope I will encourage my neighbors to do the same. So poroton is one. So the other really interesting, really important tree is Chilean cocos. Chilean cocos, they're going extinct in Chile because the people are cutting them down to draw their sap because it's useful to make a type of alcohol, Chilean wine cocos. But in the rest of the world, they're incredibly sought after. They're super slow growing, like 6 months to germinate a seed minimum. It can take as much as 18 months to germinate the seeds. And you might wait 2 years to have a 6-inch tall plant. However, these coconuts will grow in much cooler climates than any other coconut in the world. You can grow them in Northern California, in Arizona, in Florida, in Georgia. You can grow these coconuts in places that freezes. In their early years, they need a little protection, but they grow such a thick trunk that they are able to survive a hard freeze once they are mature enough. So Chilean cocos are the other really exciting plant that I got 5 seeds, and they're going to be super hard to germinate. I don't know if I'm going to get one to survive because they need about 85 to 90 degrees temperature for 6 to 18 months in order to germinate. They have to have a hot climate to germinate. But once they germinate, once they start to grow, they will survive in a much cooler climate. So the 2 amazing seeds that I found at the seed exchange in Quito, Ecuador, that I am super excited to grow and see what happens. Peace out.